I mean, one thing that apparently is now going to be rolled out to supposedly stop the boats, I live to see the day, is the Home Office is going to pay TikTok influencers in countries where there happen to be pretty proportionately large migratory flows illegally into the country. They'll be paying influencers around £5,000 to make videos for TikTok to basically say to people, don't bother, don't get on the boat, don't go there. I mean, first of all, I thought, well, that's a bit mad. Apparently, Suella Braverman stopped it, saying that these plans were frivolous. But actually, on thinking about it, yeah, we know that traffickers tend to use social media platforms as their main form of recruiting the people who are going to use their services and then communicating with them on the other side. So perhaps it isn't a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I think that there's a real debate around this. I think the pro argument is, as you allude to there, Alex, is that, once you accept the principle of a government communication service and the government spending money on public messaging, just like we had during COVID, just like we have with new government campaigns, surely you should go where that's going to be most effective. And again, it's the key principle. The running theme throughout these stories is the least worst option. And choosing to advertise and stopping people from leaving Albania is probably preferable to them arriving here and then finding out the truth, which is actually the streets aren't paved with gold and they're not going to be able to access the wonderful things that some people, the people smugglers, are often promising them. The downside is there, of course, Alex, is that, first of all, a lot of Tory MPs feel a bit wary of TikTok because TikTok headquarters in Beijing. Remember last year, the House of Commons set up a TikTok account and it had to close down because of security fears. So I think people feel a bit cautious, particularly China skeptics, about the money going to TikTok. And second of all, as you sort of say, is people want to say, hang on a sec, why are we funding these sort of well-off TikTok social media people? But it's probably the least worst option. And I think that you've got to think creatively about government communications, given that you don't want people leaving in the first place. The best thing to do is keep them there rather than getting here and then having to put them up and move around the country in different bits of housing.
Last overarching question for you, James. Left-wingers, a lot of MPs like to say, oh, the press, the media, they obsess on the migrant crisis. What people are really interested in is the cost of living, paying their bills, etc., etc. That's true. However, I think they deliberately play down the migrant crisis because they have no idea what to do about it. 124 migrants came across the channel on Saturday, I think it was, and still they come. So they're still coming over while this debate rages. And should the election, shall we say, happen towards the end of October, which seems to be where most of the smart money is, we've got a whole summer ahead of us. In the summer, the weather's good, lots of migrants come over. How bad will this be for Rishi, electorally speaking, if we have another summer of migrant discontent?
It will be bad, and that's because about half of the 2019 Tory voters are going to Labour and half are going to Reform, according to polls. I think it also then weakens him internally because he knows that a lot of Conservative MPs are very concerned about this. The key thing is where those voters are going to go. Some of them just won't turn out. And I think that's going to be the big challenge this year for the Conservatives. There's a lot of apathy in the country right now. Some people are keen on time for change, but they don't really like Keir Starmer. And the key thing will be getting out the Tory vote, because in 1997, that was a lot of things that happened. A lot of Conservative voters stayed home that election, paving the way for Tony Blair's massive landslide. So it's more about keeping Tory morale up, keeping the troops united, a bit of progress on all of this, and just trying to muddle through the election because, as you say there, Kevin, Labour isn't offering much in the way of new solutions.